Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cantina podcast, LRM's premier Star Wars podcast, and for the foreseeable future, LRM's only real dedicated Star Wars podcast. We are at our season 2 recap episode, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, LRM hetero life mate, my cohort. I don't know how else to make you seem bad.
The jam and his
but accomplice
peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm the I'm the meat in his sausage roll.
you're the onion that Brian, not Brantley, but Brian puts on his peanut butter sandwich in Little Monster. Who puts onion on a peanut butter sandwich? Oh my god,
somebody that eats
gross. Anyways,
you would find disgusting. Let's face it.
Yeah, Cam, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much. Everything's good. Coming up to
everything is good,
time.
Guys. Look, we got to say this. It's in the title, but I'll just in case you clicked on something or started listening on accident. Super fucking spoilers ahead. Go watch Mandalorian season 2 or whatever episodes you haven't seen. Before you listen to this podcast,
is anybody just sitting there
and
going, right, I just don't know if I fancy this Mandalorian season 2. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to listen to this recap from these LRM guys, and they'll tell me whether it's worth watching this or not.
Well,
but you never know.
I will say this. I do know two people that specifically used our season 1 recap to prep to watch season 2. They didn't listen to our season 2 preview because they didn't want any spoilers.
And your wife.
No, actually, ones that I don't remember. It was weeks ago. Twitter user, and the other was my sister. So you were close. But yeah, major fucking spoiler warning. I've got both of my notebooks here. I have no idea how many fucking notes we're gonna go through. We're gonna do just a couple of things with this episode, though. Cam and I are gonna talk about it in general, and then we're gonna go down a list of things that we called almost 10 weeks ago.
That'll be
during our.
I've not listened to that back like you.
I just got done listening to it before we started recording. And also, Cam, this is going out on Friday, so that's Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everybody.
Everybody's
happy
be
holidays,
sitting
all that
there
good stuff.
waiting on Christmas Day for this podcast to go live.
Pins and needles for this podcast.
So they can turn off from the family and plug in.
Exactly. Ignore their family. Listen to Cam and Kyle stutter all over the fucking place and get lost somewhere. And then after we talk about that, we're gonna go into the episodes, talk about some of the stuff that we called in between episodes that wasn't part of leaks and things like that. I want to bring up one more thing on my all Disney Star Wars projects announced. I just want to get that up real quick because I want to have that just in case we need to refer to any of it. Cam, season 2, dude, what a fucking ending! And you know what's funny? You and I both talked about Luke Skywalker in our season 2 preview, which we'll get to.
I remember us mentioning it, and I don't think neither of us thought it would happen, but we did kind of gauge it as a possible. What if this happened? Although we were even like looking for things like how to do it off camera. Sure if it's such a good idea, but it doesn't matter what I think because I wrote a couple of things about I'm not so sure about the look thing, and there was a couple of fans come back and said you are fucking insane. This was the best Star Wars in since Return of the Jedi. So if you didn't like it, you shouldn't write about Star Wars anymore. I thought.
I heard. and we'll get in. We'll save Luke stuff.
I just
for
want
just
to
a
point
little
out,
bit later,
I didn't
but,
dislike it. I didn't, I wasn't,
yeah,
tanking the episode or slagging
no.
it off.
Your whole thing was timing
Yeah.
and when and not necessarily the what or who.
And also that I wasn't super impressed by the de-aging, and I would have preferred a recast.
That can take you out of it.
These things happen.
It does.
We at least got Mark Hamill's voice, and he was apparently on set to do some of the kind of some of the movements. Clearly, it was the guy who played. There was a guy announced who actually played his kind of body double in it. So we think he was just there for like facial stuff and so that they could get a read off him. As far as we're led to believe, he didn't actually appear.
Maybe
in
doing
front of the
some
actors, because we were told the only actor that actually knew that was Luke Skywalker was Pedro Pascal to maintain the secrecy. Yep. And I think when you consider how well they managed that, I think it shows you the kind of lengths that they did actually go to protect that secret.
Yeah. Now, let's go ahead and get into talking. Let's look over season 2 as a whole. What happened, and we're gonna grade it at the end. We did all these things where we did these snapshot scores for the episodes, but we're gonna grade the season just at the end with our regular ABC. I don't want a snapshot first, so let's just let everyone know what you want to give a snapshot. What did you think?
I agreed. I don't think there's any snapshot needed for an entire season.
Good. Yeah, we'll just do a final grade at the end. So, exactly. Season 2 starts off pretty much where season 1 ended. The Mandalorian is with Din. Din is the Mandalorian. He's with the child searching Mandalorians and Jedi. Mandalorians that can lead him to Jedi, or just a Jedi that he can hopefully find sooner rather than later.
And we knew that from the trailer anyway, so that kind of starting off point was something that was kind of revealed to us as part of the trailer. So we had an idea of our starting point, if you like, before we even discussed it, really.
During the season, he starts off on Tatooine and will end on a spacecraft somewhere in hyperspace. No, they were out of hyperspace. That's right.
Just somewhere which is not been explained where it was.
Exactly. And in between all of that, he meets a lot of people. Boba Fett, Ahsoka Tano,
Bo-Katan,
Bo-Katan,
and her crew,
and her crew, which included
Koska Reeves,
Karska Reeves, and Axe.
Wolves.
What?
W-O-V.
Wolves. I hate that fucking name.
It's almost you look at it and you want to say wolves. Axe Wolves, but there's no L in it.
I hate the name Axe. I just do. Anyways, he meets them, has adventures with them, all while getting closer and closer as a not just a guardian, but going from reluctant good guy in season 1, where he decides not to let IG-11 kill the child,
and not to just walk away and leave it to its fate,
and not just walk away. Yep, and he goes from this reluctant good guy. I'm not going to let a baby be killed, because that's all it was.
It's
honestly, I think if he turned in
season,
if he turned in a 15-year-old kid or alien species of the same 15 years old, teenager looking, sounding, he probably would have never given it a second thought, but because it was a baby, he did. And season
I think
2's
also because it was
primary,
the Empire and the client was a creepy bastard as well, and I think it gave off this evil vibe to him that he just didn't like, I think that was part of it.
And he doesn't like it happening to a baby because of what happened to him when he was young, which feeds into the whole fact that he becomes an adoptive father. He becomes an adopted dad. He becomes a fucking dad, not just a father. He's a fucking dad, man. I mean, by the end of
I have a friend who, grew up with a dad, not his biological dad, and as what he said is, you may have a biological father, but your dad is your dad. Whoever acts as your dad is your dad. And that's basically the case. It's that relationship that builds up between Din and Grogu. And builds as the season 2 goes on, because it was already there, but as we're going to get into, things advance.
Well, yeah, we go more from the guardian ward and honor bound to the love, and that's a big thing in this season. And like I said, along the way, lots of cool characters and things like that. I thought the pacing was mostly okay. I don't really remember any episodes in season 2 like season 1 where I was just like, next time I might skip this episode. Yeah,
so, did you have in the middle of the Mandalorian season 1, I had serious worries for where it was going, and talked to you, Jammer, about it a couple of times, on some podcasts as we were going along, but we didn't do this at the time. But I definitely had some misgivings about where it was going, and the end kind of bringing it all full circle kind of won it all back over for me. So I was worried that season 2 would follow a similar pattern where they would just have too many filler episodes. And my concern was, if they were going to do filler episodes, there needs to be enough time to give it a beginning, a middle and an end, which I never felt there was enough time for what they tried in season 1. So looking back at that now, those worries were unfounded. I think it would be fair to say. Oh yeah,
and I had a lot of worries. If you remember my whole thing, I was so concerned because of all of the rumors
which were all
and
true,
leaks,
but,
and which were almost all true. I was not worried so much about the lull episodes like we had in episode season 1. I was more concerned with being overstuffed and not getting enough Mando. And I also had this
basically
crazy
a big advert
theory
for everything else that was coming, which it kind of was, but
they made it work.
How it was done, yes.
Yeah, they made it work.
It's not, here's the Mandalorian, here's all this other stuff. We'll get back to the Mandalorian's real story in season 3. They didn't do that. The whole point is this is all coming organically from where the Mandalorian story is going in itself, which is not the story of Din and Grogu. I believe we'll get to that when we get to the kind of speculation part later on. But I don't believe that's ever the story that was intended overall for the Mandalorian. I think it's just people got really, really attached to that child and thought it was going to be this dynamic that was going to go right till an end point. I'm not sure that is the case going forward. Anyway.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. I do know. We'll save it for speculation. Let me write a note for myself real quick. Speculate, and then I'm gonna keep silent while I write this because I want to get a raw.
Most people don't have any problems.
What is?
Keeping quiet while they write. Go. But you wear a soldier, so.
And the brain injuries.
That too.
Okay, I got it. I'm good. All right. So that was pretty much the gist of this season. We both had worries that were assuaged. Is that the correct word? Assuaged?
Assuaged, yes. That's how
there
I
we
would
go.
say it.
Yeah, but you're British.
I don't know if it's quite the correct term.
Scottish, so who cares?
Our worries were
aluminium
assuaged.
and shit like that.
Yeah, I think essentially what a better way of just saying it is that what we got, we enjoyed.
Yes,
absolutely. I think that's just because there is an element of all of that in it, but it's how you. So some of our worries were actually, they were founded. However, it was how it was executed it made it something not to worry about because it was good.
All right. Now, you have a pretty good memory being the guy that does a lot of the writing and no brain damage, or at least less brain damage. I mean, you've played soccer, football, whatever, and didn't you say you played rugby or some shit?
No, I mean, I've played it a couple of times, but it wasn't something that I particularly enjoyed.
Full contact,
no, it was full contact. It was high school.
Holy shit! So my printer just went off again. I'm unplugging this fucking thing.
It's just the ghost,
it's hilarious. It is the ghost, but this happened during the season 2 preview episode. Hold on, let me unplug this fucking thing, because that's not right.
What will be really scary is if it unplugs it and it does it again. Then this podcast will explode. And they faked it.
It's off. Thankfully it's off. But that is weird because I was listening to the season 2 preview episode. And the same thing happened. The printer started going off and we had to wait a second. Anyways, are you ready? I need you to help me. What I want to do is I want to go down a list of a bunch of rumors and theories that we had in the season 2 preview episode. Some of them are from us. Some of them are not. You kind of help me with a little bit, but this is just a quick list. We'll get into the nitty gritty when we go episode by episode. But if you guys go wherever you get podcasts right now, and I like our SoundCloud setup the best because of the playlists. But go back almost 10 weeks, listen to the season 2 preview, and that's where all of this is coming from. So, the very first thing that was mentioned, Cam, after the trailer dropped, people started trying to identify the planets. We got a couple right, like Tatooine and Navarro.
Yeah, well, they were the obvious
but
ones,
we were very wrong about Moncal and Ilum.
Yeah, very wrong. I mean, it's a hard thing to guess.
Who was it?
It was Mike that had originally done
it was just a
Mike
guess.
had originally done
those people were doing
a little piece saying, look, this is what, this could be this planet, this could be that planet, and kind of putting his evidence up. And, we had no reason to argue against it because his reasoning was sound. No. And it was planets like that we saw. It just wasn't those planets, which is just
exactly
the way these things go. But, I mean, there wasn't anything, like insider information there. That was just us fucking guessing from looking at the trailer.
Yeah, and others too. Somebody did. Several people did videos trying to break down the trailers.
Any Star Wars trailer,
like that, so, yeah.
We'll break it down. Somebody else will break it down, and everybody will see different things sometimes.
I didn't mean to have us get 2 wrong in a row, but we're fixing to have a whole bunch right in a row. So the next one was Sasha Banks and Sabine Wren was a very early rumor. So I think that was only a rumor.
We certainly never, I think we probably published someone else's rumor and we talked about this, but it was never anything we had heard. But there was a rumor that that Banks was in it and that she was playing Sabine Wren before we knew Banks was in it. So when Banks showed up, and we knew by that point Ahsoka was going to be in it, you can see why people thought it could have been, although there was a lot of fans that said no way,
easily.
This cannot be, there's no way a big character like that could be played by Sasha Banks, who's so inexperienced as an actress. And to be fair, they were right, because I kind of thought they've went and done this, maybe she's not got that big a role, or I don't know, I could see it, but you know, it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be that one. I'm quite glad in the end, because I think I do like Banks, but I think she's an action hero role. She's not a gifted actress. And
Sabine needs a little bit more character.
Anyway, yes, I think Sabine needs a bit more to her than Sasha Banks is able to deliver at this point in her career. Anyway,
or at least appears to be able to deliver.
The wrestling game and this kind of role is very different from, when The Rock started out, he wasn't that good. I'm going to be honest.
It was all action-y, the Scorpion King.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't great. And he improved because you learn your craft as you go. Like anything else, people improve over time. So, Sasha Banks definitely has enough to be able to kind of go on. But I think, it would have been a role too much for her to take on Sabine at that point in her career.
Yeah.
So a kind of more secondary character that gets to kick ass a lot is perfect for her, quite frankly.
So next up is a trifecta of rumors, theories / leaks that we got all right, and that was Ahsoka Tano being played by Rosario Dawson.
We knew that once. The trades
2.
Don't get something as big as that wrong. We knew from comments Dawson had made that they weren't like, oh, I don't know anything about this. It was like, oh, I'm so pleased, and then obviously everything went quiet after that. But you just knew. But there was still a huge amount of fans out there, Kyle, amazingly, right up until the day that basically got confirmed, that still didn't think that Rosario Dawson was in that show. So I don't get it.
But we got Ahsoka, we got Dawson. That was correct. We knew that, or we had been told, wrote about how repeated that she would be involved with a Thrawn Ezra search. That was right. And that she would end up with her own show.
That was right.
3 wins in a row.
That was something that we had reported from our source, but we weren't the first on that one. It was reported when Dawson first got attached to it. I think it was maybe Deadline that reported that first of all. Apologies if I'm getting that wrong, anyone, but they did say this could lead into a kind of more of a lead role in our own show kind of thing. And then we were kind of next to come up with that because our source had confirmed the same thing, but then we added on other stuff, obviously, that we had heard that wasn't in that initial report.
And some of these that I'm going through on this list are not just Cam and I. They do come from other they may have started at another trade, but these are the things that we talked about that day. We called the Fett show, something that wasn't even announced at the Disney.
We were 100% first on that one.
Yes, we are 100% first. Thank you guys on the Fett show. We are validated by the post credits scene in the finale of season 2. But not only that, I think it was already a known done deal that it for fans once they saw Fett in the
by that point we had heard it was already filming and it was going to be a mini series,
right.
So we hadn't heard that. We just got told there's a Boba Fett show coming, because that's what our source chose to give us, information wise at that point. Later on we then found out actually it's going to be a mini series, and it's basically filming now. I mean, they're going to kick off in that, and we're all a bit strange. What we also got right though was there's a lot of people worried that the Boba Fett show was going to be the Mandalorian season 3. I'm not going to get into...
And I was one of those people early on. You remember I said where's it at?
I think it may even be...
Here.
That may have even been one of the reasons why we kind of thought, let's reach out and see if we can get some clarification on this, because it never occurred to me. I just thought, that's crazy. To me, it just made sense. Boba Fett was coming before
I had that
season
fear.
3. But I think you'd maybe said that, and that's what caused me to think, okay, let's actually see if we can get some confirmation on this. What's really interesting is that we were told, basically, don't worry about it. Kathleen Kennedy said the next chapter is coming in December 2021,
Yes.
and Boba Fett is the next chapter, but that doesn't mean Mandalorian
Yes.
season 3 isn't coming. And then literally the day after we reported that, Jon Favreau went on Good Morning America and said basically exactly the same thing. You know what I mean? That, and he even talked about what Kathy had really said during the Disney Investor Day and everything like that. So clearly that was the plan all along. We just didn't want to, you know, give their hand away for that little stinger at the end, ultimately, and I totally understand that, why they kept it out of the Disney Investor Day.
Definitely. But way to go on us for calling that. So that was another one we got right 10 weeks ago. The Cara Dune Bo-Katan show, which we believe
not just us,
will
but we think, yeah, you and I think this is point.
Rangers
we have
of the
not
New
been
Republic.
Told that those two shows are the same
No.
by our source. We're kind of, our source told us
that's
there
our
was
guess
something coming out
for
as
that.
well that was that Cara Dune was going to be in, and then we heard from KRT that whatever show Cara Dune was going to be in, so was Bo-Katan. Then they announced Rangers of the New Republic, and our minds start to go, okay. So that's Kyle and I putting those things together and coming up with
yes,
that's who we
the
think.
Rangers part.
So who do we think? Who do you think are going to be the Rangers in the Republic?
If you remember, where's my?
Excuse me.
Okay. Here we go. Hold on. I got my notes. Where'd I put the Rangers? Finnick. I had originally said Finnick. Burr, Dune, and Bo, and then I put next to it Bo and Company question mark. And now we know Finnick possibly still could be, but she's going to be in the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so, but it is theoretically possible, but I don't think so. But I do believe for certain Dune and Burr, most likely Bo. Yeah, but the Bo one gives me a second pause now thinking about Bo, I have to be honest, because I'm kind of thinking more Bo needs to be Mandalorian Season 3, but let's be clear, Rangers of the New Republic, that's after Mandalorian Season 3. We don't know what the timeline is for it, but I think it's maybe set after the Mandalorian Season 3, so it's still possible that it would make more sense for Bo to kind of shift over into that show. Do you know what I mean? At that
possibly.
point,
Exactly.
I just don't think that could be the next step, but since that's not the next step anyway, we shouldn't worry about it. Yeah,
but we were definitely 100% right with our source on Cara Dune getting a show.
Well,
KRT.
wait, that's not strictly. We can't say that for certain. We believe that one is Rangers of the New Republic.
Right. But I'm counting that as a right because
I'm happy for you to count that as a right. I just want to be clear to anyone listening in case we get any comments saying that's not confirmed.
One of the things that we talked about beforehand was what an animated Rebels sequel might influence on this, because that was something I think one of the other trades had said.
Come up with that.
KRT
that was one of their big scoops.
Said that their source told them that they were going to get a animated Rebels sequel. That definitely, as of now, wrong.
No,
not announced.
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Do you think it's the Bad Batch?
I just don't want to say it's wrong because the thing.
No,
is,
that's why I said as of now.
I don't think it's going to happen. Right, I just don't. I think maybe that was the plan. This is not something that the KRT guys, they might completely disagree with what I'm going to say here, so please forget. I know we haven't really spoken about this particular thing that much. This is just just my own theory that it's possible that there was a plan to carry on the kind of that story in an animated form, and then the Mandalorian season 1 happened, and Dave Filoni was suddenly in live action, and it was a big hit. And I think that's when plans changed, possibly at that point, and they decided actually live action is the way to go with this. because it could be a while yet before we even see that Ahsoka show or the Rangers show or anything like that. So, it does.
Yeah,
this is all stuff
thing
we could have just dreamed up in the last 6 months, and we wouldn't really know any different, would we? Do you know what I mean?
Nope.
They could have just been very vague plans when they were writing the Mandalorian season 2. So that remains to be seen. We don't know what we can only tell you when we first heard about it, which was what, June. June was the initial time we first heard. So season 2 was in the bag long before June. Season 2 basically finished filming before the COVID pandemic hit. So, the actual plans were put in place way before that. Yeah. That's all we can say.
Yeah. And like I said, I only mentioned, I put it down because we talked about it in the episode, and as of now, from what we know, there is no animated Rebels sequel coming, but there could be.
Who knows about the
possibility, and it could happen in the future. Yep. Next thing is another duo, Fett's Armor and Timothy Oliphant, Mr. Cobb Vanth.
This was another win that we, I think everybody kind of knew before the season had started. We had saw the armor, Boba Fett's armor, in the trailer. So that's a big hint right away, and there was a lot of rumours that Timothy the Oliphant was in it. He was going to be playing Cobb Vanth. I can't remember where that rumour actually began, to be honest, but it was one of those rumours that so many people ran with it that it kind of felt like this is happening, before we went in. It seemed an obvious one. And of course, what we didn't expect, though, was that to be episode 1, though, did we, going in,
No. Come out the door like that. That was great. So that was pretty cool. We and when I'm saying we, not just Cam and I, I'm just saying we as in LRM, the trades, people talking.
These were all stories we covered. We just didn't necessarily originate all of them. I'll point out the ones we did, of course, but
Right. You discussed early on that our source had, and this goes back to June as well, and Cam and I are going to be adults and professional about this, so we're not going to talk about certain things, but you talked how there would be a series of shows that would lead together for a big event, similar to Game of Thrones, but if you took each house and separated
them.
That's how it
was described to us.
Yes, and that turns out to be right. On Investor Day, Kathleen Kennedy said that Rangers of the New Republic, Mandalorian, now we know Boba Fett as well, and Ahsoka will all be tied together. And we also know that all of these shows take place after Return of the Jedi in the Mandalorian time frame, to clarify some confusion from Jon Favreau's Good Morning America discussion.
I think they rushed them.
I gotta know, Cam.
I think they rushed them through that interview. I think people were just like, shut up and let him talk, because he's revealing information and you keep, pushing things along. But I guess that's just the nature of the show. But he said, basically, this is, like the others, right after Return of the Jedi. Now, right after Return of the Jedi is one way you could have described The Mandalorian Season 1, because it takes place about 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And Season 2 carries straight into that. My guess is that Rangers of the New Republic will fall in timeline-wise from Season 3 of The Mandalorian. I wouldn't necessarily say 100% Ahsoka will, though. Do you get what I mean on that one?
Yeah. We don't know what's been filmed, what's in we know Andor has sets, because we saw that, but there's still a lot to be left out there. But yeah, people, back in June, LRM, Cam, our source, Mike is not our source, Mike Connolly Shockey, our other senior editor, Mike, Cam, our source, myself, the Cantina, all of that months ago, guys. We called it, and that's a win. Let's see here. Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Those were both known, but yes, we talked about it. That was right.
Well, I think we have to mention the Obi-Wan one as well, since we're there, because obviously that was, I think, the biggest scoop that we've done so far, because we were the first to reveal.
So go ahead, Cam. I'll let you go.
We were the first to reveal both that Hayden Christensen was in talks to reprise his role as Anakin, and then we were later informed
Darth Vader.
Well, correct, but I see them as the same thing, so I'm not separating them in my mind. So
I got it.
So, and then we were the first to reveal that he had actually officially signed on, and not only that this was a big role. This wasn't just like some cameo scene or something like that. He was in the series. And of course, at the Disney Investor Day, we found that out officially, finally. Hayden is back. He is playing Darth Vader. And this is speculation from me. I think we're going to get Clone Wars flashbacks. And that's why they wanted Hayden back, because you really don't need him to just put the suit on, unless you're going to have a lot of scenes where he takes
or
the
show him backed up, or in the
things like that.
chamber with the mask off.
Because it's one of the things that people wish that it had just been they brought him in for one shot to get makeup done, just so you saw him in that bacta tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know me. I feel bad for him, and it's. I don't want him in the series. I don't want to ever see Hayden Christensen in Star Wars again, because I hate the prequels that much. But like you and I have said many times, and season 2 of Mandalorian proved that you can take something shitty and make it better, which is exactly why I now have my Boba Fett Mighty Mugs sitting on my desk, because for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, ever, I'm sorry, I got it, not counting the EU, the toy looked cool, the character looked cool, but he had like 4 lines in Empire and like 3 lines in Jedi, including as he was comedically thought to have been killed off, and now he's fucking cool. So good luck to Christensen. The main thing about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show,
really a good job, and kind of show people
I want him to
actually, it was impossible to do well with the material. See if you had to get Leonardo DiCaprio, who is, let's face it, a phenomenally talented actor. I mean, DiCaprio is awesome, right? And he was one of the sort of people that they reached out to. I don't think he wanted it. Maybe it would have cost too much at the time. And I think even if you'd put him in that, you wouldn't have got much of a performance, because you just can't do much with that dialogue and the way it was all put together. Just,
and
this is how you're supposed to fall in love. Here's the script. I mean, that scene is just creepy. It's creepy.
Oh God. We're not. Let's not even get too much in to that. You guys can listen to our last call Cantina coverage of the prequel trilogy.
Listen to that. Yeah, no worries.
But the one thing about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and what was going to be a movie at one point, we believe, I think for certain it was.
But it seems to be the case. But with a very different script.
The one thing we always wanted from the reason why fans wanted a Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan movie, which became a show, was to see McGregor get good writing.
And I think Deborah Chow is a
the
very
same
good
for
choice
Hayden Christensen
in
the show.
She was really good when she directed on The Mandalorian season 1. I thought some of her episodes were the best directed, some of the best episodes of the seasons, just behind Waititi as for best of that season for me. So I think it's in safe hands, and I think the fact that they decided the script wasn't good enough and basically delayed it and got the time to get the script, I am always for that. If you're not happy with the script, do not go, because there is no guarantee you're going to pull that out the hat while you're filming. You know, just take your time.
I still wish we could find out exactly
what was in the initial script.
What was wrong with the script?
What we've heard in the grapevine is that it was very similar to the way the Mandalorian ended up. I don't quite get that myself. You know, it doesn't make much sense to me. I wonder if it was just going to be something very small scale, like, you know, just Obi-Wan on the planet, reminiscing, looking over Luke, you know, dealing with something very simple, and they thought, you know what, we're bringing back Ewan McGregor. This is probably the only time we'll ever get to do this again, because there's no other stories to tell of him that isn't already out there on film. So if we're going to do this, let's fucking do it right. And then, you know, dream, Hayden, what you up to? You know, fancy coming back. So yeah, I think it's exciting. That's the one that can't help but be most excited about, because I wasn't, you know, I loved that whole the Anakin Obi-Wan thing, but it was done so poorly
from the Clone Wars,
prequels. You know, I love that the history between those two characters from, like, even from the old trilogy.
It would have been great to get it in the movies, wouldn't it have been?
Yeah. The Clone Wars does it better. And just any other place other than the movies seems to kind of get that relationship better. But you know, there's some parts yet that I wish we could change completely, but we can't. So, you know, for, you know, just the chance to maybe get some decent content between these two. I'm looking for dialogue. You know, like the one thing that was missing in that final lightsaber battle was a complete lack of dialogue between the two. And, you know, I don't I care about them fighting. I just want to see them talking. And
actual dueling instead of dancing. That was missing from Obi-Wan versus
they went for
Anakin.
Spectacle, and the choreography over the top.
Up for things that we didn't know in episodes, but there were a few and the leaks, the sources, the stories, the trades, all of that. But there were some additional conversations that we had where you and I made some theories or asked each other questions, and I want to go over some of those that we got right. In our episode, you said you thought that Gideon and Mandalorian, me and you were trying to decide what they were doing with Grogu, the child, his blood, the clone vats, assumed clone vats that we see during season 2. Way before all of that, you thought I mentioned Dark Empire, and because that's what Rise of Skywalker takes a little bit from with the cloned Emperor. You actually said, we came up with 2 ideas with what Gideon wants to do. He's either A, trying to give himself force abilities or more force abilities, or B, he's involved with the new First Order and Palpatine and Snoke. And so you and I had mentioned Dark Empire, and you said that you can see Gideon being part of the First Order's mission, and us getting that combination, a type of Dark Empire. Do you still stand by that?
I mean,
you think that's what the all combined show will be?
That's a hard thing to say, because I don't know if that would be the focus. That could be the focus of the antagonists. I think that could be a path that we go down in the future. I'm not sure if we're quite there yet on that, but Gideon's still going to be involved, so he's not going away. If we're leading to Thrawn, could Thrawn therefore be the kind of catalyst that kicked off what becomes the First Order?
Possibly.
You know, is he? You know, he believes that they need a united front to battle this species called the Gris, doesn't he? You know, could it be building up to something like that? You know, I don't know.
Wait, say that again? He's trying to fight a who? What?
I can't remember the full of the lore here on this, so bear with me. But there's a species that that attacks, I don't know, his home world or something like that, called, I think it's the Grisk. And he joined the Empire and believes like the Empire's the best way to unite everybody against them as a threat. So they could be a potential sort of antagonistic threat that forces everybody, including Thrawn and everyone like that, to potentially work together. It could even be that he's managed to get Ezra onto his side, you know what I mean? In the years since we've, that's all just pure speculation on my part, obviously. But I think that's more kind of where it's going. How that then connects into what we know of the sequel trilogy, I don't think they'll ever directly go from one to the other, connect the dots, but I think they'll throw in enough Easter eggs that make us know that after this was all finished, that's where things went. Do you know what I mean? I think we're still a bit too early for like Snoke to appear, because Ben's like a kid, but like not a young kid.
18 months old maybe.
When Snoke first appears, so that's some years later, I believe. But then, by the time we go through all these series, it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to get to kind of 5 years later and get into Snoke arising in the First Order kind of first starting. It's not impossible. But I'm not sure if that's the way it's going, but I think it'll get pretty close to that, if not all the way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I had two things. Well, one of them you and I shared. My theory that we would get new characters every 2 episodes, and it would be little 2-episode arcs that went out the window, and I'm glad, and they did beautifully.
Because they did still every couple of episodes bring someone new in that was part of that. So
right, but it wasn't,
but not the way.
Right, but it wasn't paired off
the way
exactly the way I had thought. Yeah,
it's like a half,
and then we both
0.5 in my book.
You, me, and everybody else said Ahsoka would show up in episode 5, and sure enough, she sure did.
Made too much sense.
Let's see here. You thought the spinoff characters wouldn't be in the episodes long. You mentioned that it was a possibility for them to kind of show up. Mostly like Ahsoka, have their and Cobb Vanth have their 15 minutes, and then we won't see them again until their show. I thought you were going to be semi-right, but dude, Boba Fett fucking stuck around for a long time.
And he was the one that I didn't think would stick around, So when he come back, I was genuinely surprised. Dune had 3 episodes, I think. Yep. Yeah. And therefore so did Fennec, really.
Fennec, yep.
Who else?
And 2 episodes with the other Mandalorians, Bo and Reeves.
2 of them at the end.
Axe did not join them.
End. Yep. The only one that kind of came and went away again was really just Ahsoka herself, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh well.
So I'm fine with that. I mentioned that we might get a Luke name drop. Holy shit, guys. No joking. In this conversation, Cam and I mentioned a potential Luke name drop, a potential Jedi Academy series that you said you would like to see.
Yeah, and I still would. And I'd be happy for animated, by the way. I just want to put that out there because that sounds good.
I agree.
To me. Like, I think Ford would do voice work. You know what I mean? If it wasn't like if it wasn't a main
Hamill,
character,
you mean?
Hamill would do it.
Oh, Ford?
And if Ford had to come in just to do a few lines as hand, do you know what I mean? In a recording studio, just sit in his house and record into a computer and get paid, some money. I think Ford would do that. You know what I mean? And he wouldn't be a major kind of party anyway, I don't think, if it was kind of focused on Luke. But an animated series with kind of Luke and Adam Driver even doing the voice of Ben Solo. that would be great. But I think maybe getting to that eventually, you know what I mean? Like, but to begin with, just Hamill and some other people, I'm there. I'll watch that.
Yeah. I started having an idea. I said, because of seeing the X-Wings chasing the Razor Crest, may it rest in pieces. Well, it's actually resting in carbon-scorched earth. Sorry, I had to shut my door. Cat came in. Anyways, I said I thought it might be a potential that Mando finds out about Luke Skywalker, takes a trip to the New Republic, and is chased away or something like that. And I said I didn't think Luke would actually show up. We would hear about like the Mandalorian den trying to meet with him or something. But that Luke wouldn't show up. And you also said you did not believe Luke would show up, but you believed that the name drop was a real possibility. Yeah. So we were right and wrong. We definitely got more than a name drop.
That, because to have him feature in such a big way just didn't seem likely. It just didn't seem likely. And the fact that there was, and we all thought you'd have heard about this. You would have heard about this if, you know, if Hamill was doing something.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, there's no way they would have been able to keep that completely secret. Someone would have rumoured that I've heard that Luke Skywalker could show up, but they didn't. They kept it secret. And that's why we couldn't, partly why we couldn't predict it. It's just like putting jigsaw pieces together. And it's like down at the bottom corner, there was a picture of Luke Skywalker, but we had none of the matching pieces that went there. So, you know, even at the point when we got the Seeing Stone episode and you thought, right, somebody's coming, I still didn't think it would be Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll get there here in a few minutes with that. But it's crazy that you and I actually... I don't even think there were many people talking about Luke Skywalker and Mandalorian, and there you and I were just bullshitting, and son of a fucking bitch. I said it would be Ahsoka that saves the day and takes the kid. I was wrong on that. And I think that about covers all of our guests.
And I just want to say there was one thing
preview
that we said, I don't know where, at some point, but we did... Both of us think that there was a good chance before the season had really got going that Grogu and Din would not be together by the end of the season.
Right.
Yep.
I think around episode 3 is when you and I started thinking maybe Grogu would be kidnapped or separated. Either way. And that season 3 might be him trying to get him back.
I think there was an earlier on one before we even knew that, where I had actually said that I thought there was a chance it could be like that was a 2-series arc kind of thing, and that Grogu would then go away and we would follow a new story for the Mandalorian, which is kind of the way it's going.
So let's go ahead and go down the episodes real quick, see anything that pops into mind about things that we may have said. The Marshal, Cobb Vanth. I loved it. The first episode, the Crate Dragon battle is so cool. Lots of Easter eggs, including an egg.
I still think it may have been the best episode of the season, actually. The first one.
Really?
Yeah. Looking it back now, I just thought it was a really... Because it was long as well, do you know what I mean? It just felt like it really had time to breathe. It's so many cool little sequences in it. Crate Dragon was so cool. You know, and given how we know where it's going, the little tease of Boba at the end and that, I think it's an infinitely rewatchable episode, you know, and you can't necessarily say that about them all. That, you know, when I'm watching through them, there would be ones I would skip in season 1. But even if some of season 2 was like that, which it wasn't, you know, 1 was one of those ones you'd be like, I'm going to watch that one again. For me.
Yeah. So, I liked it. I mean, it's a solid, great fucking opening. I have absolutely no issues with it. I love all the Easter eggs. I love Oliphant. I like Tim. Yeah. Tim's great in everything he does. Yep. Everything he does. And I honestly hope to see more of him in the future. Do you think there's a potential Cobb becomes a ranger of the New
then
Republic?
He's leading the show because it's Tim Oliphant.
You think he'll be the lead?
You don't bring Tim Oliphant into a show and not make him the lead character. For me, you know what I mean. If he was going to be coming back, for me, he's bigger than all the rest of the people that could potentially lead that show.
So you don't think it's a possibility of him coming back at all?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if he was to come back and be part of that, I think he would be the lead. And I don't see how we would need him to come back. There's no segue into that at the moment, you know. So you would need to have some involvement in Mandalorian Season 3 that pushed them in that direction. And we don't, that's information we don't have and we don't know about. So I think it's too early to say. Right now, there's nothing to suggest that would be the case. That's what I would say.
Like I said, I just saw the name and was like, I never considered that. First episode was all of the episodes were written by Favreau except for The Believer. Episode 7, Rick.
Filoni wrote episode 5.
And Filoni wrote episode 5. I was getting there.
Okay.
Anyways, Favreau directed the first episode. It was great. I loved it. Ready to carry on? Oh, well, we get the at the end of the episode, we get our first sight of Boba Fett, which we
thought that was cool, but we thought either he would show up next week or or not at all. So when he didn't show up next week, we thought then we're not going to see him again until that show.
That's the other thing I forgot to say. I forgot to write it down, but I heard it. There was a rumor that Tamir would be both Rex and Boba Fett, but the Rex thing did not manifest. So, anyways, the second episode threw us all for a loop because it's a standalone episode for the most part. We get the couple of X-Wing pilots that I think might be, part of the Rangers of the New Republic in the future as well, potentially. It's the ice planet. It turns out not to be Ilum. It's Trask.
I read the thing, just to talk about this episode quickly, I read the thing today which rated that as the worst episode of the season. Not saying it was bad, but it was the worst episode of the season. I actually think...
Okay.
I don't think I agree with that. I really liked that episode.
I don't either.
I think it gets a bad rap because it didn't really advance the story much. It was like a stop-off, but it was actually a really important just Grogu
character
and
development.
Mando
Absolutely.
story. Do you know what I mean? With the added mix of the kind of what they were doing at the time, so I thought it was really well done. That one. So
well, you know what I just realized is on our write-ups, you and I didn't grade episode 1 or 2. I think episode 1 is definitely an A+.
I agree.
What do you think?
A+.
What about episode 2? And I'm going to go in and alter these.
I mean, I'm praising it there and saying it's not as bad as what people were saying about it. It still wasn't as good as episode 1, but I would say it was still an A.
Yeah, I agree. Solid.
We discussed heavily
because of the relationship.
There was bits that we just spoke to us, and I think that gets missed out when people think about that episode. Going back, that it was just about spiders. It wasn't.
Yeah, no, it was all. It was
the next step we needed about their relationship. Yep. That was the episode that really took us there.
Where he crossed the line from guardian to parent. I loved it. Love it. Because I fucking love my son, and the greatest thing I ever did in this world was have a
even
kid,
when he's putting toys.
He's awesome, and I get it. Even when he's in trouble, I still love him. Episode 2, it's like I said, the ice planet, the Razor Crest. is damaged. There's a spider attack. The X-Wings come to save the day. Mando is taking Frog Lady.
Oh, and just point out that we both said, and one thing that we get wrong and one thing that we get right, we both said we thought those rebel pilots would be back again. That wasn't the last time we were going to see them. But we also both thought that there was something to do with Grogu's eating, that we were missing some big mystery to do with Grogu's eating, and this is the episode because he eats the eggs where this we really discussed it, and that doesn't look like it was the case at all. So it was a good theory. Fuck it, we had a good theory.
we thought maybe he's stunted and really hungry, and that's why he's so small. But it was a great episode. I fucking loved it. I'll watch it by its. I could go right now downstairs and watch just that episode.
Yeah.
You know,
for us, just a standalone episode. That's what we were saying we didn't like about those in season 1, because you just didn't. They weren't good enough to just sit and watch and enjoy the episode. You didn't get anything
out of it.
But you could watch that on its own and still get a lot out of it as a cool episode. Yeah.
Exactly. So, Din obviously gets away from the spiders with the help of the X-Wing pilots that basically tell him, dude, stay out of trouble and fix your, or get a transponder, basically. And he asks them for help, and they're like, nope. But there's a key here. They tell him that they know who he is, that they're going to let him go because of the prison break episode from season 1, that he helped try to protect a New Republic officer, killed some bad guys, and imprisoned some bad guys. So that was kind of cool, and that will come in later. That was called The Passenger. Peyton Reed directed that one.
Which is why this is
anything else to say?
This is why fans were concerned when they found out Peyton Reed was directing the finale, because they're like, oh, he directed the worst one of this season. Why did he get? And I'm like, what? I don't get that. There was nothing in that episode to suggest Peyton Reed was a bad choice in any way for the finale. For me, I just couldn't get that point of view.
I wish if you're out there listening to us right now, and you're one of those that does think poorly of episode 2, go back at it and watch it more for Mando and Grogu's character than you are for
the
action and stuff. Try that and see if that changes your mind. Episode 3 is where we get our next spin-off characters, if you will. Bo-Katan is at the at Trask.
Good name.
Bo-Katan is there. Frog Lady reunites with her husband with a few less eggs because Grogu was eating them, which a lot of people had issues with.
Like when he gets to fiddle with a little baby in the bath, do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, cute little baby.
I really thought he was.
Imagine he'd ate
at
that
the very first thing. When he first went up to the tank and it kind of floated towards him, I was like, oh my god, Frog Lady's got a force-sensitive baby. But then I was like, oh, these aren't fertilized yet. So anyways, it's called The Heiress, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. It sees Mando delivering Frog Lady and her unfertilized eggs while looking for the Mandalorians, which he finds in Bo-Katan, axe wolves and
we start
reeds.
to learn a little bit about how his idea of Mandalorian is not necessarily everyone's idea of Mandalorian.
The Watch. We hear the mention of the Watch, which was called the Night Watch.
It's not been confirmed, but you guess that it could be Death Watch, who were a kind of cultish kind of type of thing. But again, no guarantee on that. But some kind of watch anyway that Bo-Katan's not revealed anymore on so far.
Right. She makes a point out of telling him that there's more to Mandalorian culture than what he knows, and that even though for him, this is the way, it's not the way for every person, either native Mandalorian or a foundling, you know? Great action sequences in this. The Mandalorians showing up once Mando is backstabbed and the child is thrown in to the mouth of a kraken, alien kraken, and Bo, Axe, and Reeves all help out, and it's really great. And at the end, Bo says, "Hey, you can go to this place on Corvus and find Ahsoka Tano." And that's a Jedi. I know her, and take the baby to see her. So I liked the episode very, very much because of the action set pieces, but I do think it lacked a little bit. I don't know how to word it, but I give it a B+. What do you give it?
What did we give it at the time? Did we not grade that one either?
We didn't. No, I think we started at 4 or 5 is when we finally started putting grades on them. I've already got them up, so we didn't grade it yet. So I give it a B+ because of the action, but I think they lacked. Like I said, I don't know what it is. Flares, something was a little off that felt like something was missing, but such great action on the boat, and to see Starbuck, Miss help me with her name?
Katie Sackhoff.
Thank you. Seeing her again was great. I loved it.
I think I would have been an A- for this one. I think, yeah.
A-. Okay, I can see. What were your complaints about this episode?
I didn't really have any, but it was just, it was kind of formulaic, I suppose. But I thought it was well shot, though.
Very well.
It was well put together. The action was good, and that's been kind of a feature of this whole season, really. In different ways, and that's maybe what a different director each episode or every couple of episodes kind of brings in, a different way of putting everything together and shooting it. And
what's crazy? Here you've got different directors for different episodes, and yet it's working. Unlike the sequel trilogy. Why is
because
that?
There's one pair.
Oh, it's this name that's on every other on the next column. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Their names across the whole thing. That's why. Okay, so B+, A-. Anything else? Boob armor. Did you have any issues with boob armor?
No. I don't want to talk about boob armor.
We brought Christine on for that, and she definitely lit the Sarkassian crowd have it. So
I just wanted to say about this one though, the fact that
go ahead.
We did both think, right, okay, at this point he can't go to Ahsoka next week because we reckon that's going to be episode 5, so he's got to go somewhere else next week. So we think it's probably going to go back to Navarro to get his ship fixed.
Yep, because the people that fixed it on Trask was a Mon Cal or a Quarren. I don't remember, but it's all webby and gross and wet. And so we figured that he would go to Navarro. Hold on one second. Yes, I'm recording. Everything fine? Okay, love you, bye. All right, we're good. It's all good, man. Ready? Like you said, we figured Navarro, And so we get to episode 4, and sure enough, he does go to Navarro to get his ship repaired. And it's called The Siege, directed by Carl Weathers himself, who plays Grief Karga, the head of the guild, bounty hunter guild that Den frequents. And it's a good episode, again, with a lot of action.
But also, I think
it's the
funniest episode in The Mandalorian yet.
It is. Well, second funniest. The funniest is definitely the Believer with Bill Burr. But anyways, The Siege, it basically comes out as this. Mando needs some help. Karga and Dune have been cleaning up Navarro. They need some help finishing the job, which includes an Imperial base on the planet. So Mando says, okay, we'll go destroy that, and you guys repair my ship, and we'll be good to go. The base is actually a laboratory for Dr. Pershing. There's experiments going on. They do have the child's blood. I'm not saying anything else about blood. We know the child is strong in the Force. That's all I'm saying. They have to destroy the base, of course. This is where we get our first sight of what looks like clone vats, where we learn that this might be leading to God damn it, Papa Palpatine, and or Snoke. It was surprising to me. Not that I didn't think Weathers could do it. I just did not expect such great shots, cinematography, angles, close-ups. God, the action was so close up. Things like the speeder bikes that crashed because they were going
Plus,
too quick to react.
Immortalized Jeans guy as well.
Yes, who did get digitally taken out, but Jeans guy, who got a fake action.
He did get a fake action figure made of him, which was brilliant.
You and I both, I was right, episode 4 is where we finally remembered to start grading on the write-up, and we both gave it an A+. I'm sticking with it.
I loved that episode.
Great episode.
I don't know, reading online, other people saying, you could tell Weathers, not quite the cut, directing of
whatever.
I just don't get it. To be honest with you, I really don't get it. I just thought it was so well done. I thought the timing and all the patter between the different characters was great, and it, as I said at the time, timing's everything, and sort of comedy, and he gets that right. He gets the tone right, the timing right. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Solid. Like I said, it's a great set. Got great action set piece. Some good character development for Cara and Carl. Not as much with Mando this time around.
Well, he took a back seat in this.
It's a pretty straightforward mission for him.
To be honest,
yeah.
It just allowed the secondary characters that we've learned the most about to get a bit of time on their own.
Isn't that amazing how they, Filoni and Favreau, can do that? Let secondary characters have good arcs, like valid arcs. Bravo, Weathers. Anything else you want to say about it? I thought the chase scene was looked really good, CG wise, and I like the throwback to A New Hope with the turret.
And one more thing happened, which we discussed speculation-wise, was we saw the Dark Troopers for the first time in that episode as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we then speculated that there were going to be like versions of the Dark Troopers that had Force abilities, and that what they were doing was kind of using Grogu's blood to try and kind of create a Force powerful army. That was wrong, because they ended up being droids.
That turned out to be very wrong.
We got that completely wrong, and it was more what we said.
But what an EU moment.
You know, we didn't want it to be, which was leading towards kind of Snoke instead. But you know,
yeah,
we'll see how that one plays out in terms of how I feel about it going forward. But at the time, I know.
But anyways, it happens. It is what it is. It's a fun episode. Episode 5, directed by Dave Filoni, written by Dave Filoni, called The Jedi, sees Mando go to Corvus and the city of Calodan, but he parks so fucking far away. I don't get it. Like, 90% of it's so because the script needs it. But I hate how far he parks away from everything.
I think it's that walking, no transport, Yojimbo feel, you know, that they went for in the full episode.
What they're aiming for.
There wasn't really any ships, you know, apart from I'm getting in and I'm getting out, you know, and the rest was just all on foot. And I think that was just aesthetically the way he had that. You know, he imagined all that in his head. That's where he was going with it. So I think that was the main reason for it. But we could have had one line where he just says, "I don't want to land too close, you know, to this place. Keep the ship safe. We'll walk." I mean, there's, you know, or something.
There's plenty of times where it makes absolute sense, but then there's other times where you're just like, "What are you doing? Why?" You went there, you got gas, and then you left. What the fuck? No, I'm joking.
Mando, nobody needs a new ship, but what he really needs is a ship that can have a compartment where he can keep his own speeder in it as well.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like I said, the episode's called The Jedi. Ahsoka does show up. Mando goes to Calodan, speaks with the magistrate, who, and he plays it so cool. He charges him with killing the Jedi, and if he does, she'll give him a Beskar spear. And he's like, "Well, fuck, I'm gonna go find this Jedi for my own reasons.
I'll get the Jedi, and then I'll take that fucking spear straight off you,
and I'm gonna take your fucking spear
anyway. Fuck you."
Yeah. You and I both gave this an A minus.
Yes, and everybody else loved it.
Do you remember why you knocked off half a point?
Because it was very stylized.
Yes.
You know, the way it was all done. It was very stylized, and, you know, I don't know, it just, you know, I don't know.
Maybe what I say might help.
Dawson as Ahsoka as well so far, because I don't think she had too much to do. We didn't really get to see the warmer side of her. She was very kind of like almost like standoffish, you know, in a way.
Right.
And that's not really the kind of Ahsoka I remember, but this is a different Ahsoka, you know, that's been through a little bit different from the last time we saw her properly. So it's hard to say, but I don't know, just something about that episode. I enjoyed it. I thought it was stylistically, it was really good, you know, all the western and samurai, you know, throwbacks that it had and everything like that. I loved the way it was shot in the planet. It was dead murky, and, you know, and Filoni talked about how he used the California
This was another planet
as his inspiration for that.
This is another planet that I think someone got wrong. Didn't someone think this was the same planet from Rise of Skywalker, where Kylo was at in the forest? Didn't people think that this was that same planet
dusty
at one point?
And stuff like that, so people wondered if it was the same place and there was some kind of connection to everything. But I
knocked
that one myself.
And instead of being an A or an A plus, really why I kind of knocked it down a little bit was Dawson, and it might not be her fault. She's a great actress, but I just feel like she was a little stiff in this, and I don't know why she was. Maybe they're aiming for something, but that and I think we complained about some travel. We do this in most episodes where it's like, okay, you could have cut 30 seconds out. We didn't need to see him riding a transport for that long with just music playing. The great thing about this episode, like you said, is that putting westerns and samurai films together, showing the differences and the similarities. But that wall scene, man, when Mando brings Ahsoka back, actually backtrack. We find out Grogu's name here in episode 5
revelation.
As
you know,
Ahsoka communicates with Grogu through the Force, finds out. Yeah, it's all exposition. Finds out his name, but also that he was whisked away from the Jedi Temple during Order 66 and was in hiding ever since. So some of the best moments are really Mandalorian and Grogu again. Mando pacing while Ahsoka communicates. That's an absolute parent move. Guidance counselor, teacher, someone that you know is safe, or you expect to be safe, but needs to speak with your kid alone. You're still going to stand back close enough to do something if it needs be. And Pascal or whoever was in the suit, if it was a double for some reason that day, great body language.
I don't think it would have been for that scene when it's very low action. Do you know what I mean? Sort of intensive scenes. I think
it should be
body language.
It should be Pascal.
I would guess that was Pascal. Yeah,
Pascal. Yeah.
You could have proper
so I liked
interactions with Dawson on set and stuff like that. You know, two actors.
Exactly.
Each other.
Exactly. So I really enjoyed all of that. When he brings her back, there's a great lightsaber fights with her destroying droids and humans.
Here was
Den
one of
helps
my
rescue.
gripes that she took too long to defeat
Go ahead.
the person.
I agree.
It just seemed like, you know, it was too evenly
We'll get there.
matched. So just come out of my head one of my gripes that I had with it.
There you go. So after taking out the guards and stuff, Ahsoka goes to take on the magistrate while Mando goes to release some prisoners. He faces off with the magistrate's right-hand man, if you will. Ahsoka then duels the magistrate and of course wins, loses one of her lightsabers. She name drops Thrawn and asks where he's at. And at the end of the episode, she tells Mando where he needs to take Grogu, so Grogu can find a Jedi, because she said she not only can't take him, but she's actually afraid to train him because of fear she senses in Grogu.
Yeah. Which Luke doesn't, because they have a very different philosophy of what the Jedi is at that point.
Absolutely. You can kind of speak on that a little bit, Ahsoka's point of view and why it's different, please, because I didn't watch the Clone Wars, and some other listeners may not.
Ahsoka left the Jedi Order because she had some, reservations about the way they were doing things, but she's still very much that prequel era dogmatic Jedi. That's what she thinks is the right way, and she doesn't consider herself a Jedi, which really she is. That's in her own head, but she feels because she doesn't follow the rules, she's not really a Jedi, so therefore she's not the right person to be training anybody, and she doesn't probably know about Anakin's redemption at that point. There's no reason for her to know anything other than that the Empire get defeated and that probably her old master's dead.
But she doesn't know the redemption.
Get it? She's not had an encounter with Luke Skywalker or anything like that, So she hasn't had that chance to kind of be trained almost the different way that Yoda trained, because Yoda trained Luke as an adult, and that was the whole point, that Luke did have all these attachments and he did have fear, but it didn't matter because it was about the choices you made. he had the choice
Yes.
to bow down to these things, and he chose a different path, and that's what made him a Jedi, but a different Jedi from the from what had come before it. So I just don't think Luke would have, which is why I kind of, that's why I needed more in that sequel trilogy about what happened to Luke Skywalker. Do you know what I mean? And why he couldn't help, Ben. I just don't get it at that point. And why he would blame himself for it completely as well. I don't know. Just that's the bit that just didn't come across right to me. But if they can explain that away in some other show further down the line and show us how Luke became jaded and the things he did wrong, then maybe I'll change my mind on it.
Or if you're not gonna do it in Disney Plus series or the theaters, fucking let somebody write the book and let them
don't think
actually
they're ever
affect
do that
the galaxy
now, because if they do and they canonize it, they can't then film it, or they're filming that person's work, you know what I mean, and all that sort of stuff. And I think at the moment they want to keep it a visual thing as much as possible. Yeah. And then a lot of the comics, they're all the weird takes. They're never anything that's too canon-y in the comics, it could be taken a different way. Exactly. Yeah, I just, print is dead. As Ian Spengler said in 1985, print is dead. And he could be right on that front. I love reading books, you love reading books, but I don't know if Star Wars books are the way for that medium to continue.
Not anymore.
It was always a visual thing to begin with. That's what we fell in love with in the first place. So I suppose, at the time we wanted more, we got more in the only format we could get it, which was books. But now they want to push ahead and give us stuff to actually watch on TV and watch in theatres, so we just got to go with it.
Yep. Anything else to say about episode 5, The Jedi?
And prediction wise, going back in my memory, there was nothing much we kind of predicted at this point, other than we didn't know if the next episode would be him going straight to where he was supposed to go or not, or making some other detour, but we really kind of weren't sure what the hell was going to happen next. Right. I think we thought Gideon would show up in the next episode, which he did, of course, but that was a bit as far as we got prediction wise. So we certainly did not predict what happens next.
No, we didn't. We know that Mando's headed to try to find a sight stone or seeing stone to put Grogu on, so Grogu can attempt to use the Force to contact a Jedi if he so chooses, and then let that Jedi know, hey, come pick me up. If he chooses,
he's basically making an
I thought there was going to be
mobile phone call.
Well, what I was going to say is, she makes it seem like such a big deal. This choice. That word has a lot of meaning, but I don't really know if that paid off.
Well,
if it's going to pay off later.
From Grogu's point of view. So, we only got to experience that from the outside. You have no idea what was going on in Grogu's head during that whole moment, and what he went through, and what he learned through the Force. I mean, we don't get that verbalized in any way until the final episode. But even then, we still only know what the result was. We don't know what actually happened.
Yep. No, and we'll find out more in 2026 with Grogu: A Star Wars Story. Let's carry on to the tragedy. Episode 6. Mando takes the child to the Sight Stone. Holy shit, do we get Boba Fett, and we get the Boba Fett everyone had in their mind in this episode. But more than that, and the temple's on a planet called Tython, by the way. More than that, let me describe. Goes to Tython, puts Grogu on the stone, force field, literally a field made up of force energy, goes up around Grogu, and then Slave One comes in. Mando goes to confront Fett. Fett wants his armor. He says that he's got Finnick, and Finnick is aimed at the child.
Would have done any good, by the way.
I don't know. Not only that, I don't believe Finnick would have actually shot. I
don't know. I think it might have depended on the way things went, but I think either way, there's no way it was getting through that force shield at that point.
Absolutely not. Talk about how bad it. No. Correction. We learn that Boba Fett is a simple man trying to make his way through the galaxy, which is, of course, a throwback line to episode 2. But more than anything, we learn that this guy, at this point, has a sense of honor, has a sense of duty,
some kind of code,
but also, but also we know that he's a selfish dude and will do things for himself. But he says, "Give me my armor; it belonged to my dad." And I'll protect the kid, because here comes the Empire. A bunch of stormtroopers land and a couple of transport ships that I've never seen before, which is fine. And great action, dude. It's Robert Rodriguez. Like, what the like out of nowhere. Robert Rodriguez comes in. It's like a 32-minute episode without credits and stuff. But after he puts the kid on the stone, from there on out, man, it's nothing but action.
And interestingly enough,
Fett's character's great.
They didn't like Rodriguez's direction. They thought, they could see a lot of cheapness in the way he did things. Like, it felt like a Star Trek set scene or something like that, because it was like on location instead of, done using the volume and stuff like that. I thought that added to the kind of charm of it a little bit, that it felt different.
I did too.
I like the fact that we don't know quite. There's not going to be a specific style that's always going to be used in The Mandalorian. We're going to see different people's visions, long as you said just a little while ago, Kel, and it's exactly the point, as long as you have the right people controlling it and where it's going, and picking the right people to come in and express themselves, then that's working.
Yep, I agree.
And we now know, which we didn't even last week when we discussed this, that Robert Rodriguez is on board for the Book of Boba Fett as well.
Yes, EP as of now, executive producer, but I can very easily see him writing and directing, potentially. What do you think?
Possibly.
I think he'll
I think, depending on, because we don't know how many episodes it's going to be. It's hard to say at the moment. Is it going to be one person doing the whole thing? Is it going to be different people again? If it was different people, I could see it being Rodriguez, but I think if he was named as EP, I don't think it would be him like directing the whole show, if that makes sense.
No, not at all.
Because I think they would have just announced that. They would have said, and directed by Robert Rodriguez, and they never. So I just have a feeling that, it could be multiple people, or they're still waiting to announce somebody that will do the whole thing, and we need to wait and see on that.
Very true.
But we must get that information has to be out there, Kel, because they're filming it now.
It does.
Sets are being built, so maybe not right now, but in January, I think we're going to have some hints about who's actually sitting behind the director's chair, because there's been a lot of set photos already. So I think we might have an answer to that sometime in the new year.
Yeah, we might indeed. You and I both gave this episode an A+, obviously, because of the impact. Because of how awesome fucking Fett was.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, once he uses a Tusken Raider sand people gaffy stick from Tatooine to just beat the shit out of some stormtroopers. Not only that, but he did it in a way that was reminiscent of Rogue One. The blind monk, Chudi, I think was his name, or something like that.
Chudit,
yeah,
I think. Chudit.
Maybe that's it. But it was just such an amazing thing to watch, and it had your heart pounding.
It was just so
and we get to see
that he showed up.
Exactly.
And he's a badass, which we all wanted him to be, but he wasn't. And I think it just spoke to us because we had discussed it previously that we just didn't care much for Boba Fett. He had a reputation that he didn't deserve, and then they brought him back and made him a badass. And I love the way he looks in his new armour as well, which we didn't quite get to see till the next episode, but yeah, he just looks like a badass again to me. I like it.
Yes, I agree.
I like it.
I love the look on Tamir's face when he sees that the Razor Crest is open and nearby. The day that we watched that Friday, watching that episode, I wrote in my notes, I don't know if you remember, Razor Crest needs auto turrets or self-defense. I think I wrote something like that. Not anymore, because Gideon is obviously somewhere nearby because of those troop transports, and sure enough, he decides to hit the Razor Crest from orbit. No shields, full-blown capital class turbo laser hit. The Razor Crest is destroyed.
It's a shame, but
yep,
it will always live in our memory because it went through a lot, and it's when a ship goes through a lot. And we actually said this just on that episode because we actually felt something when the Razor Crest went, because not as much as Falcon, but when a ship goes through that much and survives, it has a character to it. You know what I mean? It develops a character, so it felt like a death almost getting the Razor Crest destroyed. And I think that's a key component that I would like to see them build up, that it gets a new ship and we get to build its character again, and stuff like that, because that was always part of what made the Falcon the Falcon to me, the fact, in Empire Strikes Back when they're hitting it, and that's what, the Falcon was just a spaceship that was supposedly fast in the first one. It was an Empire Strikes Back when it still is there at the end after everything that's went through. That's when the Falcon became a character in itself, So the Razor Crest managed to do that. There was a lot of fans also that thought at this point Fett would die at the end of this season and that Mando would get Slave One as his new. We never, because we knew there was this Boba Fett show coming, so we were like, that's not the case. But
and we think, you and I think that the Fett miniseries is likely to cover from the Sarlacc to where and what he's doing sitting at Jabba's
I think it could
palace.
Possibly go across some different timelines. Yeah, that's my theory anyway. The initial report from Deadline, I think it was then, had said they thought it was a prequel series. The fact that he's on that throne makes you think, I don't think it's a proper prequel series.
They're not going to spend all.
Yeah, but I could see us doing a bit of, here's how we got to where we were, and here's where things are going forward. What's made him, is there anything changed in his character? You know what I mean? Because did he have to really help Mando as much as he did? He could have walked away at the point to get the armour. He could have dropped him off somewhere. Mando wasn't really expecting anything else. So it showed a kind of more neutral side to him. But then the fact he goes back to Jabba's palace and takes over, is that just us saying, right, he's decided he's going to become the new criminal boss, or is there more to that? I'm curious now. I'm curious. And I think, that's why I think we could see what happened to him, for sure.
So here's my theory, okay? 6-episode mini-series. Yep. The first 2 episodes are childhood.
You think they go back that far?
Yes, I do. Childhood and teenage life after Daddy dies.
We kind of know some of that already, though, because he was in the Clone Wars.
Right, but not everybody watched that. I'm just guessing here. And then the next 2 episodes are Return of the Jedi, because like you said, we saw a lot of stuff, or people saw a lot of stuff in the Clone Wars about him. So the next one are set like maybe during the OT, and episode 4 ends at the Sarlacc, getting out of it. And then our final 2 episodes are the current thing and what he's doing.
I just don't see 6
but it's all going to be
miniseries. But they've nowhere have they said miniseries.
Yeah,
Disney have never called it a miniseries. They've just called it the Book of Boba Fett series. So that could be wrong. I mean,
it could be very wrong.
6, 8, you could be right. I just don't know. I think if we were like going 6 or 8 episodes, I agree with you that it could be like a really focused in building this character up so that he's a main player going forward.
Right.
If it was, let's say, 3 or 4 episodes, I could see them not going back as far as that, but starting really just from Sarlacc and what happened to him, what his journey's been since then, rather than and kind of relying on the fact that the fans know his ancient history, theoretically.
Yeah.
But it is called the Book of Boba Fett, which kind of makes you think the story of his life as well, doesn't it? The way it's, the Book of Boba Fett. It makes me terminology. They're just calling it Boba Fett, you know?
It makes me think that, yes, we're going to see some past stuff, of course, because it's called Book. But honestly, I was surprised at the branding, because Book of Boba Fett sounds like a miniseries. And I honestly expected, once it got its title card released, I honestly expected it to say The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. That's what I honestly thought.
Using the Mandalorian to connect all these things, but then you would need to do the Mandalorian Rangers of the New Republic.
Well, no. Because Boba's is in my mind. This is my mind and my logic for it. Since it's a mini series and it's connected directly with Mando because of Finnick and Fett, that's why I thought that one would have the branding, but not all of them.
I'm going to actually, that's one thing I'm going to, next time we manage to speak to a source, I'm going to try and find out if there's any idea on a kind of, if it is a mini series, the Book of Boba Fett, or whether it's a kind of just regular series, or whether they even know if that's kind of out there yet. Because at this point when they're filming, you'd be guessed the scripts are ready. That that might be information that's there. I think that would be good to kind of to get even a rough idea of, because at this moment in time I'm just not so sure, because I thought they would have announced it as a mini-series, if it was a mini-series, and the fact that they haven't just makes me think twice, I don't know. Would they just, if Mando, a mini-series would work if they started it early December and then we were still getting Mando before Christmas time, but I just don't know if that's going to work. They're not going to run it over Christmas. They never do with these things. Americans never run shows during the Christmas period. You basically stop everything for Christmas and then start it all back up again at some point. Britain doesn't do that. If there's a TV show and you just get it on Christmas Day the same as you would anything else, do you know what I mean? So that just makes me think that maybe it could be a mini series, because if it starts in December, maybe we only get, that's why I think maybe 3 or 4 episodes, and then we're kind of done and it's Christmas time.
Well, I say 4 to 6,
and then we get but that would still surely push it right into January, so it would have to run over Christmas.
Yes, it's not gonna overlap.
Do you think they would
all
run it over Christmas? I think they would try and stop it just before Christmas.
I don't know. I tend to agree with you. No, I take that back. Depending on how many episodes, they could end it before Christmas, and then after the New Year holiday, boom, Mando season 3. Because yes, ladies and gentlemen, according to our source and many others, There is a Mando season 3.
Oh,
it's not the Book of Boba Fett. It will actually be the Mandalorian
we don't even
season
need
3.
Sources now. John Favreau confirmed.
Yeah. Fucking Favreau.
Favreau said it. So it's
So so let's carry on. Grogu is captured by the Iron Legion. I mean, the Dark Troopers. Which was the most disappointing part of the whole episode, was no Dark Trooper action, but we see later why they
and I did
it.
say that, didn't I? I did say that this is being kept so that when they do bring them out, that's, the characters aren't aware of how powerful they are and everything like that, so that's something I called as well. I thought that would happen. It's just a storytelling device, you know what I mean? But I totally got your point of if that wasn't the case, then they should have used them more at that point. But yeah,
exactly. But like I said, they make up for it later. And when we're doing these reviews, we're only able to analyze what we've seen, and what I had seen made me think that. But anyways, let's carry on to.
At the end of the day, it's not let's see how much we get right. It's just fun to talk about what we did and what we didn't.
Exactly. But I'll tell you what, it has been fun how much stuff you and I have gotten right, even in between episodes where we're like, I think this will happen, or I think that will happen. It's been fun. You
could say that's because it was telegraphed, or because the writing wasn't, didn't subvert your expectations enough and things like that. But I don't think that was the case, because we did get our expectations subverted.
Several things wrong.
And it went in different directions than what we thought.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this is part of the fun of Star Wars for most Star Wars fans, I think. And it all kind of started in about the prequels, because we just, everybody would be guessing what was going to happen next. And that just, I mean, that's why I ended up doing this job that I do. That's where that came from. It started off in the 90s, getting on the computer for the first time and discussing with other fans on various websites what was going to happen next.
Those old chat
listening to
rooms
leaks,
and stuff.
Completely disregarding the garbage that was out there, you know what I mean? The super shadows and all that sort of stuff. So that's where I kind of came from. So, it is part of the fun to me. But, if somebody gave me a script, I wouldn't read it. Because you want to still be surprised, but it's nice to put the jigsaw piece together as well and see how accurate you make the puzzle.
Absolutely, I agree. What happens? Episode 7. Here we go. The Believer. Bill Burr. So right before
I would just move past this book.
after
episode
Grogu
6,
is taken. There we go. Once Grogu's taken and the ship's destroyed, Mando goes to see Cara Dune. He needs help, and we had known Bill Burr was coming, and I had said that the Mando would be the one to go get him. And
you said he would need him somewhere, because we'd already predicted that Grogu was getting kidnapped, so we were right on that. And that there would be some rescue attempt, would be the climax of the season. And you said,
we called Cara being a part of it.
Bill Burr's character Mayfield will be part of that. A crew, or they will need him for some reason. And I'm thinking to myself, why would they need? And I remember saying it, why would they need Mayfield though? I get you, because we know Bill Burr's in it, so he does have to show up, so you must be right, but I still don't get how he could, because why would he want to bring him back? And of course it was the whole Imperial angle, which I think you called at the time and said, well, because he's ex-Empire maybe, so yeah, you got that one right.
Yep.
I was wrong.
Thank you. Yay. Anyways, it's a hilarious episode.
But it's not, I actually like this episode more for the non-hilarious stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I like this.
Oh, well,
scene,
that makes sense, because the guy, the scene at the...
I thought was...
Exactly.
And I'll say it again, the best scene that there's been in The Mandalorian for just shooting drama. Just two actors doing drama and working. And not just two actors, that's wrong, because it's also Pascal's performance, which we were raving about at the time. I loved the way he moves his head as if he's somebody that's used to wearing a helmet. There's so much in there if you go back and watch that again. And Pascal's performance, while he's watching these two people have this conversation that inevitably we all know where it's going, and that's drama. That's like Breaking Bad drama. That's what it reminded me of. That's the quality. The tension, like that's something that Vince Gilligan would come up with, and he would put characters in that situation where you just get to see the drama play out in front of you, and it's show not tell. That's what it is. And Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are some of the best examples you will see of show not tell. And it was that was in this episode that made it so good. They showed, they didn't tell, and that allowed Mayfield's character to grow throughout that episode by just naturally letting it happen. You know what I mean? And that's why we think he could come back, because there's progression in his character from where we left him in season 1.
Yep, and where he shows up, we don't know. I would love to see.
I'd like to see
Rangers,
more Bill Burr, because he's like famous for slagging off Star Wars, and then they like brought him into it.
Yes,
and I just think it works. More Bill Burr.
He is such an equal opportunity offender too when it comes to his comedy style, and he even makes a "your people" joke. And in America, I don't know what it's like in the UK, but in America, depending on the person you're talking to, if you say "you people," it can be seen as lumping in all races or all of
something
a particular race
but
into
probably
a
not
monolith.
a race thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but in this episode, Bill Burr says something like, "I don't get you people," and by "you people" I mean Mandalorian. Yeah. It's all in on the joke. I love it. Here's the whole premise of the Believer. Okay, they need to get
we should
Moff Gideon's...
explain the Believer in a really bad way. 2 guys go on a slow car journey. They can't go very fast. Meanwhile, hijackers try to stop them from getting to where they need to go. When they get there, they decide to kill someone and leave.
There you go. That is basically what happens. The unobtainium is actually called rhydonium, and it's very, very volatile. It can blow up very, very easily and very, very largely. Dude, the chase stuff is cool, but everything really takes off when we get to the Imperial base, the refinery, I guess. Because that's where we see Mando take off his helmet to do a face scan. It's a really tough choice for him to make, because Mayfield doesn't want to go into the room where the computer is at, because
time, Mando needs to do this. This is a big moment for him, as we discussed.
Yes. So Burr sees his former CO, commanding officer, and that's why he says, "Hey Mando, you gotta go do it." And Mando is so set on finding Grogu and getting him that he tries to let the computer scan his helmet, and then sure enough does remove his face. I'll let you elaborate on the amazing discussion between Burr and what was his name?
I've already basically discussed the 3-way back and forth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's great,
but it's just such a powerful scene. I can't praise it enough. This is if someone wants to know the difference between high quality drama, do you know what I mean? Really, concise writing, compared to, just here's the plot. And we go along, which Mandalorian is nowhere near on the level of something like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. It's just not, right? And it's not supposed to be, because it's Star Wars at the end of the day, and it's still people jumping about with lasers and fucking lightsabers and with crazy creatures and using magic powers. But there is opportunities to kind of do drama well, even whatever you're doing, and that's an example of, again, how you show not tell. So, you know, big kudos for that.
Yeah.
What did we grade that one as?
So I gave it a B plus, and here's why. The traveling bit for me took too long. Again, there was like 10 seconds here, 12 seconds there, where it's just like, you guys could have cut that and made this feel a little bit smoother. You gave it an A minus. We both agreed that the humanizing of the regular Imperials when they go out to defend that last truck, which they don't know is a Trojan horse. And then they go out and they celebrate and they salute the truck.
How it brings us as the audience along with them, and you know, but then we change our mind because we start getting back to what the Empire's all about. Yeah, I think I might have to. I'm going to have to watch it again, but I think I've graded that too low. I think that episode was a lot better than an A minus, and I think your B plus is an insult. No.
You know, I will watch it again, and
because
I shall see.
We waxed lyrical on everything that happened and how it all fit together, how it built the character of Mayfield up, you know, what it did for Pedro Pascal in that moment,
right?
Acting, you know, the pacing of the episode. You know, it was one of the best
that's
episodes
what part of it.
series.
I think the pacing had. I actually had. Personally, I thought pacing was an issue.
But it built, you know, it was a steady build. You know.
Yeah. We'll watch it again. What do you think? You think you're going to regrade to A plus or just an A?
I think, you know, thinking
you don't know.
Now, I'll have to watch it again, but I think I definitely would have to go up above A plus. So I may revise that one later on.
It is good. It is good. I love Bill Burr's character. At the end of the episode, or this is where we get to see Boba Fett's new painted armor, repainted armor, and he's upgraded some stuff, and instead of wearing, you know, black robes and armor, it's more properly fitted. He's got a proper kit now. Action sequences are okay. Who directed this one? This one was Rick.
It was Rick
Famuyiwa. Yep.
Which was the second he directed this.
Yes. He or not he, but at the end of it, Mayfield is basically released. They're like, thanks for helping us out, and instead of taking you back to jail, we're going to say you died during the rescue mission, and hopefully we never see you again. But hopefully we do see him again. Mando sends Gideon a message because he's got his coordinates, lets him know I'm coming for you, and also gives a very similar speech to Gideon that Gideon gave to the Mandalorian during the final episode of season 1. Anything else to say about this episode?
Don't think so.
Alrighty then. Peyton Reed directs The Rescue, the final episode, which you and I discussed in grand detail. So we're not going to go into grand detail again. You guys can listen to our review of The Rescue on
one as well. You know,
Yep. On the thing, but I will say this: it's hilarious that almost that 2 months ago you and I were joking about the possibility of a Luke Skywalker name drop, and instead we got Luke fucking Skywalker.
I mean, yeah, we don't think either is imagined what, you know, to the extent that we did would have what happened, getting like an actual corridor scene like Darth Vader, where he got to just mow down all these dark troopers and fight his way in. Then to be voiced by Mark Hamill, you know, and de-aged and everything like that, and take Grogu away. Yeah, it was cool, you know. And I think I had some issues with it when I watched it first and probably graded it a little bit lower as well. I think that's one where I've kind of tried to step back for it and thought, right, I just need a few days away for it, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch that again once all the fuss has kind of died down. and then just kind of see how I feel about it at that point. You know, if I maybe get that kind of buzz from Luke that, you know, everybody else was getting, which I didn't seem to quite get.
You gave it a B plus. I gave it an A. My son absolutely loves it. He's watched it like 4 times.
I can imagine.
I like the Luke stuff because for me it was just to me the Mandalorian is the EU, and this was EU Luke, and this was just an EU moment. Luke Skywalker exists. He's out looking for students right now, you know, or at least he should be. It makes sense that he would feel Grogu call out, especially if Grogu's call is amplified by that stone. You know, it would make sense because in the EU, Luke literally did that using the Force to sense people out or rumors of people that were really lucky or good at something to find students. And for him, I can agree with you that we will never be able to reintroduce Luke Skywalker again. Never, ever again. We have the original, we have the sequel trilogy, and we have Grandmaster Luke Skywalker going through the Dark Troopers like a hot knife through butter. And that's it, man. We can put Luke Skywalker in something else, but it will never hold the weight that this did. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know, never going to come across like that. The only thing that could top this for me is if they recast him and gave us a live action Luke Skywalker. And, you know, people will initially hate whoever it is because it's not Mark. But, you know, unfortunately, you can't have everything. You know, you have to make compromises. No. And if you want to have something that, you know, that would be my dream show. The one that would get me so excited would be, you know, a live action look. But as I say, I would take animated with Hamill voicing as well, and it'd be a cartoon I would genuinely look forward to. Especially as, you know, you don't have to make it kiddie-ish because you do have to say, oh, it's animated, so make it for kids. Make the same show you would have made in live action, but just do it animated.
Just do it animated.
That's
but
what
don't
I would
use
say,
the shitty animation that you guys have used in the past.
Yeah, I would rather have like something that a unique style, like proper CGI. You know, really spend some money on it. You know, if you're going to get the big players and, you know, really, you know, do it right and spend some money on the animation.
What would you think, Hank? It won't happen. But what would you think if the guys behind Castlevania Powerhouse that are also doing Masters of the Universe Revelation with Kevin Smith? What about that style, that Western anime style from Castlevania?
Nah, I don't like the anime style at all. You know, so I'd rather have something like photorealistic CGI, probably. You know. Yeah.
We like I said, guys, we've been talking about this episode for days now, for a week now almost, and by the time you guys listen to it, it'll be over a week. Go check out our episode 8 review, please. It's great. We go into grand detail. The one thing I have to bring it up once again, because it was the theme throughout the whole fucking series, that fatherhood moment. When Luke comes in, Mando says Grogu doesn't want to go with you, and Luke says no, he wants your permission. I made my meme. I've got it. I noticed it the moment it happened. I got choked up recording, but Grogu asks his dad if he can see him without his mask, and without fucking thinking twice, Mando takes that mask off. Upsetting some people on the internet and causing them to have to backtrack and spin the things they've been saying for months on end, especially after Favreau on Good Morning America. But anyways, that was such an amazing moment to me. And like I said, I looked at it as all EU, which is why I gave it a solid A.
Yeah.
So. Let's speculate a little bit, okay? Just a little bit about season 3, or do you want to speculate about Boba Fett?
I mean, I think we could speculate about whatever we want. You know, there's only so far we can go with it. I mean, I think we've already talked a little bit about Boba Fett and what we think might happen, and it's going to depend on the episode lengths and when it's going to fit in, and you know what timelines it's going to cover. I think there's much more we can say about that. So I think we could talk a little bit about specifically when we get into Mando season 3.
Yes. It's going to be completely different.
Yes.
I think we're going to get a whole new cast of companions and helpers.
Yeah, I think they'll introduce a lot of new characters. Yep.
I think as far as returning, of course, Din, the Mandalorian, Gideon, and I think Karga is coming back.
You think that saber, the fact that he picked that up,
yes,
she wants it. That's not going anywhere between now and Mando season 3.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that, as well, you guys can see it in the episode, but because of her dogma, just like Mando has been hindered by his dogma, she has a dogma of her own with this, dark saber.
She did it before when she tried to before by getting it given to her the last time, and it didn't work. So she knows that so that's part of where her dogma comes from, is experience and failure. You know?
I did not know that. People just wouldn't recognize her, or the dark saber didn't work.
The dark saber, not her. It was Sabine Wren. And Sabine Wren didn't want to be in charge of anything, even though, even more than our Mandalorian, she's actually got proper connections, with the kind of bloodline Mandalorians and stuff like that, but she wasn't interested. And so she tried to give it to, or she gave it to Bo-Katan so that she could try and unite everybody together. But that was during the Galactic Civil War, well, just at the start of the Civil War when the rebellion was young, so that was during Rebels, so the rebellion wasn't even a proper thing yet, it was before the original trilogy. So what we don't know is what happened after that, other than that Mandalore took the last, which doesn't sound good. And, that's it. We know very little, more than what happened for there. Did Gideon win it off her? Or did Gideon just get it after she had lost it somehow? That's all still got to come out. And the fact that Gideon, Bo, Din are all in that's where we've left them. They're all together. To me, that's where season 3's story is.
I think we're also going to see Mandalore for the first time in live action in season 3.
I think
I do believe we are going to take a trip there. I think it's Yeah, I think it's actually going to be Din that goes there to kind of scout out the area now that he's the reluctant king, if you will, which is a thing you and I think is a potential theory, or not theory, but a story thread.
That rulers
for season 3
want it but have it thrust upon them are better than people who desire it.
Can be, yes. What else do you think? I think we will see. This is the thing that I wrote down earlier. I think me, and Jammer are on to something with Grogu and the Yoda species. I think by the time we get to either season 3 or the culmination show, if it's not season 3 as the culmination, if they give it its own thing like the Defenders.
It's not season 3 because season 3's out next. Then we've got
exactly. So with that being said, I expect that culmination. I expect Grogu to show back up having hit a growth spurt. I don't know how much time
to pass, and
exactly. I don't know how much time will pass.
Needs to grow physically. I think he needs to grow mentally.
Yes.
If Luke can open up the repression that's in there and get him speaking, for example, I don't think we might not see him as a baby anymore. He looks like a baby. is he really a baby? Or
he's a traumatized child.
Or is it just that people have assumed his size, the fact that he doesn't talk and makes gurgling sounds, is that he was an infant? But maybe, 50's not infant, it's child, like a kid that you should be able to have a conversation with and should still be able to, if powerful enough, be a kind of Jedi, and fight and stuff like that. So that's possible. I think one of the popular fan theories, a lot of the fans think there's no way that they get rid of Grogu because he's too powerful a marketing tool. And I get the logic of that, but some fans are using that to say in season 3 Grogu will end up back with Mando. I don't think that makes any sense.
I don't think so.
Me at that point.
No.
I don't think they will do that. I think we will get an absence of Grogu, and it will build an expectation for whenever he could return in the future. I don't think we'll see any of Grogu. This is my prediction now, that Grogu will not appear at all in the Mandalorian season 3, unless it's some little tease at the end or something like that.
Right, or flashback, or potentially...
Because Gideon doesn't know where he is, and the fact that he's with Luke makes it too dangerous for Gideon to go and get him.
Safe.
And to bring that storyline back, you have to have more Luke Skywalker, and you're not going to keep doing that with a de-aged Luke Skywalker.
No, you and I already
said if you were going to bring Luke back big time, you would recast him. You'd have
recast. Yep. So yeah, there's not a lot that we can say to speculate on that, but there's a lot of things that are gonna.
I think we'll get
into
it. What I like about we'll go to Mandalore is I think we'll go out of the outer core and start moving in to more of what's happening politically amongst the main world.
Yes,
and
especially
bear in mind,
in
we've
Rangers.
got those rumours that Naboo stuff was being built for Mandalorian season 3, and that makes you think that they're going to Naboo, which is a first world country if you look at it that way in terms of kind of planet. It's a proper member of they'd be a member of whatever, or they would have been a member of the Empire because their senator was Emperor of the Galaxy, but at that point, so he was basically in charge of Naboo as well, but ultimately, you would imagine they would have sided with the New Republic. So that's interesting that we're going there, unless they're building that stuff for the Boba Fett show and it's all be getting mixed up, but I don't think so. I don't think so. From what I've seen, it seems as if it is for the Mandalorian season 3 rather than Boba Fett. So
yeah, I do think, like I said, I think we're gonna go to Mandalore, and I think it's gonna be Den by himself at first, and then he might be followed. I'm not quite sure how it's gonna play out, this whole Darksaber thing, man. I think that's exciting though, because I really don't know. I have a feeling
Poe has to take a darker turn. I just don't see her, remaining a kind of. I think we see her take a darker step, and almost
she
become
wants it so bad.
Antagonist. I'm not going to say
at
villain
all costs
necessarily, but if I think they want to play with us. That's the kind of drama I'm looking for. Things that we weren't expecting, characters to go in different turns, as to build up that by the end of it we maybe see Din Djarin is the best person to lead Mandalore going forward, you know what I mean, or something like that, so that we get a conclusion to all of this. He becomes a hero or something like that, but there's a journey to go on, and I think Bo's won't necessarily be the same direction as what Din's is.
It could make sense. I hope I heard one person say they thought they would really pull Game of Thrones and try to get Bo and Din married so they could rule together. I don't buy that, and I don't want that.
See,
that would be bad.
No, I don't think that Star Wars that works in Game of Thrones because it's a because society, a very old society, was built in that way, that you made alliances through marriages. I don't see the Star Wars universe being that way. We're not talking about people's names. It's not as if Din Djarin's got some, if he was a foundling, he's got some famous name.
Like I said, it was one person on a Facebook group. Look, here's the cool thing about the Cantina, ladies and gentlemen. We are sticking around. Next week, as a matter of fact, you guys can expect us to start showing you what the Cantina is going to be until the next show, which, as far as we know, is the Book of Boba Fett in December. But we're going to be talking a little bit about this new era, the Rangers, Mando, Ahsoka, and whether or not Filoni and Favreau are trying to fix the sequel trilogy the way Filoni tried to fix, and apparently did fix, the prequel trilogy through the Clone Wars, and even helping out with Rebels, I heard.
Fix is too strong a word. Improve.
Not fixed, but...
Improve.
Yeah, improve. Yeah, there's a good word. I like that. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed our review of The Mandalorian so far. Cam, it's been great. Do you have anything else to say about season 2 or any other thing you want to say, guessing about the future?
Not just probably going forward for us again. I think one of the things we'll be talking about is whatever Star Wars news has been out that week, and just, how we think that, how likely we think it is, because there's more to come out now that we can start getting more news about things, especially now that Boba Fett's going to start filming. But after that, it'll be Mando season 3. So
Andor's already filming. Obi-Wan's about to.
Soon. It should be kicking off in January. I'm expecting to hear a lot more about Obi-Wan, to be honest. So I think we'll have a lot of news that we'll be providing going forward for some of these shows, and there'll be obviously lots of other people out there, so there should always be something for us to talk about. I don't think they'll quite be as long as what we've been building it here, because not as long as these reviews. It'll just be a quick, what's been happening this week and how we think things are going to, and if it affects us. Oh,
but it's
something just fell in my house there and caused a big bang. Sorry.
Hope you're okay. It's Kyle and Cam though. We're different. You're talking about you know what, guys? Just go check out any episode of the Cantina or Last Call, and you'll see why myself and Cam are the absolute best people to listen to every Friday to talk about Star Wars, or almost every Friday. Cam already explained it, what we're doing going forward, and if there is no news, we still have our love of Star Wars and thousands of memories to pour through to discuss. So yes, the Cantina is sticking around, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us during this journey from last year, going through the movies to doing The Mandalorian, and we look forward to being your guys' premier source for Star Wars news and entertainment, because Cam and I are fucking hilarious, and if you don't think so, go fuck yourself. What'd you say?
Opinions.
Oh yes, and opinions.
And speculation, because we love a healthy dose of speculation.
Oh god, love it. Everyone else, you know what to do. Website, lrmonline.com. Every day, news, opinions, lots of good stuff. Check it out. YouTube channel. Lots of celebrity interviews, writers, directors, and all of our podcasts are going up as well. And we're starting to do some new video type things. So please go subscribe. You're going to love it. And of course, the podcast network, everywhere you get podcasts from. Some sites don't maintain our entire library. We are not sponsored by SoundCloud. I am not trying to get you to buy them or anything. I'm just letting you know that going back 4 years, and a lot of things in nice tidy playlists. So if you want to catch some of our back catalog, you can catch it there. Cam, where can people catch you on the internet?
At LRM_Cam on Twitter. Obviously, LRM exclusive, just through that as well. Reach out to me. Obviously, my main role in this whole shindig is writing stories on weekdays, whereas Kel kind of covers stuff at the weekends more. And, so reach out, give us a shout.
There you go. You guys can find me at that Kyle Malone on Twitter and Facebook. I also host a morning show, LR Mornings, every Monday through Friday. So Cam's been on there a few times. You guys go ahead and check all that stuff out. Thanks, Cam. This has been a blast.
See you next week.
Can't wait until next week. Yeah. May the force be with you all. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.